All right, I want to make sure I'm on the air first before we get started. This is Jamil Salib Zamir out of Manning, South Carolina. Of course, always thanking everyone for tuning in. Let me adjust this. Put a little bit of lows in there. Yeah, we live. Population control. I thank everyone for tuning in. This is Jamil Salib Zamir out of Manning, South Carolina, 1120. Now, I know that I promised to get started on the topic of the female and the vagina, the power of the vagina. If you haven't checked out our web page on YouTube, you can go to the 19 Report on YouTube. We have several topics. The power of PUSSY, Black love, love, sex, and thought. We have a lot of different topics you can go on to and get kind of acclimated to where we're headed with this topic. This is not what we're talking about today. We had to take a detour real quick and get into another subject. So please stay tuned as I play the intro, and we will be right back. This is Jamil Salib Zamir, Manning, South Carolina, the 19 Report. We will be right back.
Thank you. Thank you so very much for tuning in to this month installment of the 19 Report. I am your host, Brother Johnny. I walked a thin line between right and wrong. Took my fears to God, then I wrote this song. The spirit kept calling, so I answered the phone. And then I manned up and got some backbone. My mind resonates at a much higher tone. Solid foundation, empire zone. 3 mountains, I'm in one, right to left counted, 9 and then 1, left to right switch it, 1 and then 9, west to east, south to north, a thin line. I know Christ exists, cause his mercy allows me a chance to stand 3 on a square. Yeah, we in there. This is Brother Johnny of Groove 19 Promotions.
All right, this is Jamil Sleeves with me out of Manning, South Carolina. I thank all of you for tuning in. Let me do a few things. I want to check something real quick. We're going to be talking about we're going to be talking about a few topics today that's going to lead us into the main topic that I want to talk about. And the main topic I want to talk about in a few days, God willing, will be the woman in the vagina, because we are losing our path, in my humble opinion, what the woman is for and the power of her vagina. And I think most women don't even realize the power of their vagina. They just think it's to give up coochie and control men with. So we're going to try to get a deeper understanding of that by God's grace. But today we're going to take our time a little bit, and I got to bring a few things to our attention because I'm very concerned at how we are fighting our own personal agendas. And on the back end of social media, I don't have a lot of much of anything, but I always try to help people when I can, financially help, even when I'm feeling down. By God's permission, when I was in the hospital on my 3rd surgery, right now, forgive me for closing my eyes, but I get real dizzy at times, and you got to fight that and keep going. That's what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to do that. If you say that you're loyal to something, you're supposed to stay loyal to it until you die. So I try my best to stay loyal to Islam as taught by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad. Now, there are a lot of Islams out there, but this one, we are saying that someone came to America and searched out the poor and downtrodden black man. And after searching out this downtrodden black man, this person who had a white mother, black father, taught us Islam, taught us that we were the gods of this earth, taught us of our fall, taught us of the things that we lost in our sojourn to this country. So it is a different Islam. But any Muslim or any who claims to be Muslim is family. But our Islam as black people in America is different. The 5% nation, the nation of gods and earths, the nation of Islam, is different. We have much more to learn, much more to share, much more to gain. I want to talk today about population control. Again, I'm broadcasting live on Instagram under Jamil Zamir. If you want to join me on Instagram, you can join me there. We're broadcasting live under Jamil Zamir on Facebook, my personal page, and also on the 19 Report on Facebook. If you want to join us, you can join us there. And also, we are broadcasting live on YouTube at the 19 Report. We're trying something new. If you would like to call in, you have to give me time to get myself together on the call in. But you can call in at area code 803-656-3874. Again, you can call in and join into the conversation at area code 803-656-3874. If you would like to be a guest on the show, you can message me on Facebook or Instagram, or call me on this number, 803. It's not on all the time, but sometimes it's on. You can leave a message. Call me on this number. If you have a topic or anything that you would like to discuss, call me on this number. If you have an event that you would like for me to appear in or to speak at, you can call me again on that number, myself or Dale Castro Powell. Again, we are available for events, but treat us like royalty when you invite us, like you treat everybody else. So I want to get into a topic today because we're always talking about population control. And I'm going to share this real quickly if I can. I did a topic, and you won't be able to see this on Instagram, but you can go to YouTube at the 19 Report. And please like and share our broadcast. I'm going to take it a little slow today and just give me a little bit of time, and then we'll be done. So I want to get this topic up for those of you on Facebook. I don't know how well the stream is going, but for those of you on Facebook, I don't even remember. I did this in 2015, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. So that's what, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 20. That's like 6 years ago. I did a commentary entitled Black Savage, or Born a Black Savage. And the graphics on the image is of Black men. If you haven't seen Without Sanctuary, there's a book entitled Without Sanctuary. It's probably about $79 to $80, but it's very well worth the buy. A history of violence. And I have Black males hanging from trees and white men underneath them, very jubilant at the fact that they've killed or gotten rid of more, quote unquote, no good niggers who, since they cannot make us money and they're rebellious and they're trying to exert their own power to live, to exist, then they should be dead. Also, I have a lion and a bear, animals. And I have a Black male with his pants sagging and no shirt with a target on his body. And the title of it in 2015 was Born a Black Savage. And I want to say this real quickly. I am a Black man. I have experienced racism. I have experienced the Ku Klux Klan. I have had a gun put in my mouth by a white man. I've been called nigger and everything else. So that is a post-traumatic stress for me. But I am not a provocateur of violence. There's no way where on my record where I've ever been violent towards anyone or my words. In fact, Facebook labeled me as a liberal, that I want everyone to be able to be who they are, what they are, etc. That's a dangerous thing in itself. We're talking about Black Savage. We're talking about population control. And we're talking about, although we think we are unified in what we're doing, when we lose a loved one, we got a lot of work to do. Because some of us are trying to do things for the whole. We want everyone to be included. We want everyone to benefit from whatever it is we're doing. But some of us, unfortunately, are using tragedy to benefit ourselves. We're going into this topic. Give me a little bit of time. I want to take my time. Thank you all, whoever will tune in on Instagram. I'm trying to get a bigger following on Instagram. So please tell people about Jamil. let them be the judge of what I'm saying and how I say it. I don't look so much at how many people join on to what I'm saying, because we are such an impatient people right now. We're so impatient that Satan is taking control over us easy, all the while making us thinking that we're successful. I'm going to say that again. Satan has taken control over us easy, all the while making us think that we are successful, because we can do one minute thing. We could do one thing out of 365 days in a year. As black men and women, we do one thing. Around this time of year, we'll give some toys away or do something to what we perceive as be a part of the Christmas spirit. But the other 364 days, what have we done? One day out of the year you give toys or gifts. 364 days out of the year, your mouth is filthy, your words are filthy, your thoughts are filthy, your actions are filthy. And one day we publicize that as if though we're these great people. I can't take away from the one day, and I can't take away from anything that we do, but I can say that we're going to have to do much better in how we are trying to advance ourselves, if that's what we're trying to do. I hate to be an apologist so much. I hate to have to be so careful in my words, but I've been doing this since 1985. And somehow people get my words so misconstrued, so discombobulated, so messed up that they think I'm saying something derogatory towards another race of people, when all I'm trying to share is the truth, and all I'm trying to share by God's permission is where we are headed, because I've already been shown that. There is no financial wealth over here with me. But even in poverty, when God gives you what you need, you use it. So I have my Cash App up, my PayPal app up. I always had it up. I had it up for over 20 years. And I thank those of you who helped me, because I need the help. Because as a master photographer and videographer, I gave up a lot for this. Not that you asked me, but that I saw the urgency in getting the message out. So let's go. I had to keep saying these things because, golly, man, y'all only tell half of the story when you get one minute thing out of what I say and you run with that. He hate white people. He hate this. He don't like that. And make me the villain. I'm willing to work. Listen, if I'm in a community of all black people who ain't doing nothing, and there's a community of all gay people over there that's doing big things, I want to move where the gays at. If there are white folks that's doing big things, I want to be where the whites at. Because we got to begin to build and more than we destroy. So I was looking at the life of Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, and a lot of the other people who have settled civil lawsuits with police departments. And the first thing I look at is what they do after the settlement. I don't want to misquote her name. Let's see. Give me a minute. So I can find the right name, because I don't like to misquote people's name. Okay. But in Colombia, in 2019, Samantha Josephson, as the report, she got into the wrong car thinking it was an Uber. She was inebriated. She got into it and ended up, her body was found here in Manning, South Carolina, dead. White woman, killed by a black man. Don't matter what the color, but this was headline news. Her parents lived all the way in New Jersey. They immediately got on the case. The They didn't run down for a civil suit. They ran to change the laws of Uber drivers and the laws behind who could drive an Uber and what credentials they needed to have in order to drive an Uber. And these people changed the laws. I don't know if it was a legislature or whatever, but they fought so hard that they changed the laws to what credentials you had to have as a driver, as an Uber driver, because they loved their child so much and they did not want another child to have to suffer the fate of their child. So they fought to change the laws. But now I cannot speak for the pain of a parent who has lost a loved one to murder or anything else, a child. But I'm noticing that we take on up the baton of our children, make it personal as it is, but it becomes an more of a show of look at me. And you want to hear people say, you're strong. Oh, oh, God is blessing. Oh, you're just the best. But not fighting the laws to change the laws. So I read an article today in Chicago where 60 repeat offenders were let out on bond or a murder. And those 60 people committed other murders after being put out on bond. I posted that up on my page. I didn't see anywhere where Trayvon Martin's family and parents were fighting to change laws. I didn't see where Michael Brown's family was fighting to change laws. I saw them in the community fighting to increase awareness and stopping the violence, but not to change the laws. I don't see where our people who are losing loved ones are fighting that these repeat offenders are not allowed to post bail so that the next child does not have to be murdered by a person who should have been in jail for murder in the beginning. The only people I feel should get a bond on a murder is someone who is questionable self-defense. The Castle doctrine, where you stand your ground doctrine, where it's been proven that, oh, they were not the aggressor. Because you cannot be the aggressor and then claim self-defense. That's against the law. You can't be the aggressor and claim self-defense. So why are all of these? I'm coming to a point. So that's why I'm telling you, you got to stay on board with me for the whole broadcast, because it's all going to make sense. We're talking about population control. Who are those in legislature, Democrats and Republicans, who are allowing repeat offenders to be let out of jail? Who are these judges who hit the gavel and say you can get out on bond on a $10,000, $20,000 bond, and you only have to pay a certain percentage of that? So you $10,000, you got to pay $1,000. To $20,000, you got to pay $2,000. Who are letting these people back on the street and why? We're being set up, and anybody in between that, white, black, red, brown, or yellow, are considered collateral damage. But we're being set up for slaughter. And that's what my topic was about, the Black Savage. I want to read the subtitle to it. Says the explanation is simple. The choice, on the other hand, is not. Black people want to be accepted as equals in a world where we were not enslaved for the purpose of equality, nor were we freed for the purpose of equality. Abraham Lincoln said, I did not free black people because they were equal to us. I freed them for the purpose of war. It was a strategy, a strategic move. Street clothes or suit, boardroom or bum. What the majority of the world has been trained to see in our people is a savage. Our only objective for survival is to make a world of our own, but this is nearly impossible. How do you make a world of your own and continue to live in a world with other people? The Bible says, the Quran says, that God made us into different tribes and families so that we would love one another, learn one another, and not hate one another. What is it about us that makes a few of us want to be the main attraction? Most people are fighting this fight against police brutality, not because they believe in it, believe in the fight, but because they see a civil suit where they can get money. Once they get the money, their voices get silent. Once they get what they want, their voices get silent. So I don't hear from Mike Brown's parents or Trayvon parents because they got this Breonna Taylor's family, they got the civil suit. But the student killed in Colombia, her parents changed the laws, fought to change the laws. I'm coming to a point. Now, there is this stone in Georgia. It's called the Georgia Guidestone. Many of you're just getting on to this, but we were being taught about this years and years and years ago. It's the Georgia Guidestone. It's like a granite monument. It was erected in 1980 in Elbert County, Georgia, in the United States. And that Guidestone has a set of 10 guidelines. It is inscribed on the structure in 8 modern languages, 8 different languages. And a shorter message is inscribed at the top of the scripture in 4 ancient language scripts. It's called the Georgia Guidestone. I want to read to you the number one thing that's inscribed on this Georgia Guidestone. It is a message consisting of a set of 10 guidelines or principles is engraved on the Georgia stone. In 8 different languages, 1 language on each face of the 4 large upright stones. If you go to Elbert, Georgia, check it out. Moving clockwise around the structure from due north, their languages are, it's in English, Spanish, Swahili, Hindi, Hebrew, Arabic, traditional Chinese, and Russian. The first message on this Guidestone, and this Guidestone is intended to be a guide to humanity of how to keep the earth balanced. I'm going to read all 10, but I'm going to say this first. The first on the Guidestone says, maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. The second guideline, reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. The second guideline is reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Now, number 1 says maintain humanity. The key word is humanity. Most of us are no longer human. I'm coming to a point. We consider ourselves demons. And when you lack empathy and morals, you are demonic. You are a black savage, a white savage. You are a savage to those who are trying to maintain humanity under 500 million. You don't take this seriously, but there are people in positions of power who take this very seriously. And people in positions of power always spread the message to the next generation of the powerful. And people in positions of power understand completely how to control a person who wants attention, who wants money. So I said what I said about those being murdered for this reason. As long as we continue to take the civil suit and take the money and not fight to change the laws, our children will continue to die because the elite wants them dead. I'm not talking about your white aunt, your white uncle, your white girlfriend, your white wife, your white husband, your white co-workers, your white business partners, your white neighbors. Most people just want to live in peace. Islam, as taught by the most honorable Elijah Muhammad, teaches us that 85% of the masses of the people of the earth have been deceived by Satan. 85%. 10% know the truth, but they are bloodsuckers of the poor and will never tell you the truth. So that is 85% of the people, black, white, red, brown, yellow, gay, straight, transgender, who are just trying to survive. But they can be easily led like sheep to the slaughter. You got me? 85%. 10% who are bloodsuckers of the poor, who understand what's happening and in fact are those who are making it happen. And then there are 5%. So 85 and 10 is 95%. That leaves 5% of the human family all over the world who know God's truth, universal laws, who are willing to fight, bleed, and die to get that truth. That's your 5%. That's the 5% nation, gods and earth, all of the different names and societies that walk around that are trying to spread this truth, but you can't just tell it, because a person who does not study and read will not believe anything you say. They think you a nut. People think I'm nutty. People think I over exaggerate. But God has led me to books. Listen, I got so many books that I've read and uncomprehended and got to go back to by God's permission. But once you stop studying and lean onto your own understanding, you have lost. The Bible and Quran and all holy literature will tell you to never lean onto your own understanding. So if you get a dream or a vision, you have to be patient enough to wait and see, as opposed to getting out and running your mouth too soon. So number one on the guidestone, maintain humanity under 500 million. They are doing that. That's why I entitled this population control, because I got something I want to read to you. Number two, guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. See, fitness and diversity. You want diversity, but you want fitness. You want people healthy. You don't want anybody pulling on society and not carrying their weight. As a person who is constantly busy and doing things and pulling my load after these surgeries, I am no longer able to carry my weight. So that's what makes me depressed. You must be able to do your part. And when I get out and overexert myself, then I get sick. I'm the one of the ones that they would probably have to put a bullet in my head because I'm slowing up progress. So I have to be, as my doctor instructed me, find you another place to fit in, because you can no longer fit in that place where you once were. But don't give up. Number three, unite humanity with a living new language. See, they're changing the whole dynamics of the earth with a living new language. When something is living, you know, they call it the New Living Bible. That means the words have vibration. The words have life. You unite humanity with a living new language, positive language. What's going on now? Death, murder, kill, gang, all of these negative things. I'm coming to a point. I'm not pointing fingers at you, but I'm telling you how you were set up for the slaughter. Because you don't read. You smoke weeds. You don't know. You sniff blow. I was trying to be Jesse, man. I ain't did it right. Anyway, I was trying to rhyme. But you get the point. You must understand knowledge. You must have it. So the third thing, unite humanity with the living new language. Number four, rule passion, faith, tradition, and in all things with tempered reason. The Bible says, come, let us reason together. Hey, man, say, brother, you know, we get home, man, we tired, we want to sleep. We don't want a lot of noise in our neighborhood. I do what I want to do. I tell you, I kill you. That's not reasoning. So people are dying left and right. People are dying for having music up too loud, dying for not being fair, guns all over the place. All of this, all of it, from the guns to the drugs to the violence to lesbianism to being gay to all of this is by design. All of it. All of it. We war not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, spirits in high places. I'm saying I'm missing something, but you know what I'm saying. I'm gonna try to find it. Just give me a minute. But we're on 4. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reason. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. Do you understand me? This creates a harmony in the earth that there is no violence, no war. But in order to do that, when a person is sick, when they have a cancer in their body, when they have a virus in their body, you must eliminate that virus in order to get that person better. Right now, there is a great purge on the earth. Violence will not stop. The elite want us dead, but they don't want their hands bloody to the death, so they put the guns and drugs in your hand. They put the thoughts in your mind by putting different sounds and beats and rhythms and words in the back of these songs and giving it to our young and feeding hypnosis to our young through movies and cartoons. See, there are layers to things, and you can put on any layer what you want to put on it. This is real. And this is why it says that language will be new. Because the American language is a bastard language. It's a devil language. Because parts of it are taken from different nationalities to make this language. So the words that we think mean what we think they mean don't mean what we think they mean. So every time we speak, we are casting spells in the atmosphere, in the ether. And those spells must carry the whole cycle out. So your child may not be in the street with the gangbangers. They might be in college, but the gangbangers are coming to college. Nobody is safe. You saw the woman that was just murdered in Beverly Hills, up in the hills where they thought they were safe, but the hills have eyes. Los Angeles is right now in a full-fledged purge. They are robbing people on the interstate. They'll pull up next to your car and make you get out. They will shoot you, take your car, because all of that extra government money is gone. This is happening. I'm going to finish this. Rule passion, faith, tradition, and all things with tempered reasoning. Protect people and nations with fair laws and just courts. This is on the Georgia Guidestone. This has been up since 1980. 1980 is when Hurricane Hugo hit. When Hurricane Hugo hit, Hurricane Hugo brought something all the way from the shores of Gabon in Africa. And Hurricane Hugo touched every single port that slaves were let off from Africa to the Caribbean to Barbados, all the way to the Charleston port, Columbia port. Hurricane Hugo ripped it apart. And the elite understood what the message was. So they started sending out alerts, as the Bible says about Jesus, send heralds and summons into the city and tell the people, we looking for this person who's going to change things. Number 6, let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. See, they have what they call, I can't think of the name of it, but it is world court now. One language now. We're under population control. Everything that was said about this thing that just came out a few years ago that got everybody scrambling and trying to get all inoculated and all that, this is a part of population control. They talk about it on the new James Bond movie with nanotechnology. Look at it. And it's one particular part in the whole movie that's going to sum it up for you very easily. But here's the thing. How can you say you love a God whom you've never seen and hate people that you see on a daily basis? You lying to yourself. Many of us want to scapegoat. We want to push the responsibility on someone else, because with black folks, finally, we got some money and we don't know how to act. That's my point with our people when it comes to changing laws. Instead of changing the laws, once we settle the civil suit and get them couple of $1 million, we get silent. And the elite know you're going to be quiet for a couple of bucks or a position. This is not just going to affect black folks, it's affecting everybody. 85% of the masses of the people don't have the knowledge of what's going on in the world. They don't know. Once they find out, they would do something about it. Not as many black and white people dislike each other as you think. We can get along fine. 6, let all nations rule internally, resolving external disputes in a world court. We're almost done. 7, avoid petty laws and useless officials. That's the one right there. That's the problem. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. So now, in order to try to keep up with these rules that were put on the Georgia Guidestone, you know, in New York, they say we're not going to arrest prostitutes no more. You know, in LA and other places, they're saying if they steal anything under $1,000, we're not even going to deal with. We're not even. That's why they're smashing and grabbing everything in Los Angeles right now, and it's coming here. But these rules are intended to weed out certain people. Releasing criminals is intended for a purpose. They want you to kill more people. They want more people dead. The one thing they know about us is that we D-riders. We you know, you can be with your homeboy that you've been with all your life, and whoever beats him up, you're gonna leave your homeboy and go with the tough guy, because we love hanging with tough guys. I like the underdog. I always like the underdog. I always like the person who I see fought their best, rather they win or lose. I go with the underdog. Avoid petty laws and useless officials. Balance personal rights with social duties. Balance personal rights with social duties. Prize truth, beauty, love, seeking harmony with the infinite. That means following universal law. There is no way around it. And the owners of slaves and the owners of this world, that 10% that I talked about, they know good and well that they do not follow universal law. But this is what they do. They prolong their time on this earth with false balance. So when this thing hit, when everybody was getting sick and they start throwing out all this money, they know that most of you would have gotten silent. Those of you who stole money, who scam money, who continue to scam money, for the next 10 to 15 years, you would be quiet. That gives them 15 more years to plan their ultimate attack on how to kill the 85%. And we fell for it. You are not as tough as you think. And the purpose of the reason why you're not is because you never fight the demons within your own mind. You can fight everybody else outside of yourself, but you can't fight yourself. Reason you don't like me is because you think I'm always talking about you and you, but I'm talking about me too. The last one, be not a cancer on the earth. Leave room for nature. Leave room for nature. They said it twice. We are not leaving room for nature. We are a cancer. The Georgia Guidestone, 10 rules to follow. I'm going to post that up on my Facebook page and probably on my YouTube page. We are not following the rules of God. You activists, those of you who have lost loved ones, I cannot begin to fathom what you're going through, but be very careful how you approach this thing. And look at the people who help you in the best way they can. And don't be one-sided. Don't make it all about you. Because in the midst of what happened to your child or my child, there's a story about you in there, your neglect, how you dropped the ball. So when you become too perfect and out of balance, God is going to balance it. So somebody is going to start pointing out who you really are. So be careful. Very careful. And don't make it about you and attention. Keep it on the cause and the purpose of why we must do these things when we lose a loved one, that we will try to make sure none of it ever happens again. We got to go after the bail bondsmen who put up money for anybody, the crooked court system. But we need people, y'all out there bragging about, I just finished with my doctorate degree. I'm a lawyer. I'm a so-and-so. Great. Let's get busy. Let's go in. Because this is one bald-headed lawyer that's fighting all of the cases. After a while, you get so poisoned, just like with Jesse and Al Sharpton and the rest of them, it's all about attention and money. He can't be the only one fighting because he said something silly earlier today that got on my nerves. We need more people. And we need people who have the knowledge of law that can check people that we think absolute power corrupts absolutely. Most of these lawyers are ambulance chasers, and they go after the big bucks in civil lawsuits, and then they tell you, be quiet, don't talk no more. All right, let's go on. We're talking about population control because I want to read something to you that's vitally important, and we're going to close. I want to do this right now. If you have not joined on with us on any of our websites, please join us on the 19 Report on YouTube. Subscribe to our page. Subscribe to us on Facebook at the 19 Report and at the 19 Network. And if you send a friend request, if possible, message me before you send the friend request and let me know why you want to friend that page. Because listen, it's so much dead weight. I just read the 10 rules of the Guidestone. And one of them says, do not be a cancer on the earth. But most people are just cancers. You just want to pull on a situation and see what you can find in it. It's okay that you don't fight the way I fight. I understand. You don't understand what I understand. That when Hurricane Hugo came in 1980, it's when God came to me. When Allah came to me in 1980. And in 1980, it's when the Georgia Guidestones, this Georgia Guidestone, was placed in Elbert, Georgia, Elbert County, Georgia. March 22nd, 1980. Now I want to go to this real quick. Headlines. Secret Service, nearly $100 billion stole in pandemic relief funds. Read a little bit. I got to go through it because I couldn't highlight it. Let me read the first one. Nearly $100 billion at minimum, has been stolen from COVID-19 relief programs set up to help businesses and people who lost their jobs due to the pandemic, the U.S. Secret Service said Tuesday. Now, I applied for the pandemic money because I was a business since 1980. They denied me the money. I didn't get any of it. But I saw people get to 25,000, get to 30,000, get 25, ask for forgiveness and go get 25 more. And I saw people saying, good job, the black man finally getting here. I wasn't happy for none of y'all. None of you. Because in my mind, if I worked hard to get something and you take it from me, you stole from me. But I began to understand that this system was set up just to catch you, and you fell for it. Whether you got the expungement or not, whether you got it, you don't owe it back or not, you on record. And you'll get a letter in the mail, I promise you. Now, the estimate is based on Secret Service cases and data from the Labor Department and the Small Business Administration, says Roy Dodson, the agency national pandemic fraud recovery coordinators in an interview. The Secret Service didn't include COVID-19 fraud cases prosecuted by the justice system, so they're on it. While roughly 3% of the $3.4 trillion dispersed, the amount stolen from pandemic benefits program shows the sheer size of the pot is enticing to the criminals. You got your money. I'm coming to a point. We're almost closing now. The Justice Department said last week that its fraud section had prosecuted over 150 defendants in more than 95 criminal cases and has seized over 75 million in cash proceeds derived from fraudulently obtained Paycheck Protection Program funds, as well as numerous real estate properties and luxury items purchased with the proceeds. Every time we get an opportunity to do something right, we do it totally wrong. All money ain't good money. And when you do things totally wrong, you interrupt universal law. And when you interrupt universal law and you cause a ripple in the frequency and the vibration of universal law, then just like throwing a pebble in a pond, it's going to ripple until it could go all the way across the Atlantic Ocean, but it's going to bounce back. It's coming back to us. So in the days and the weeks and the years to come, we are going to be in worse shape than we were before this event happened. I don't care if you bought 5 different 18-wheeler trucks. If you didn't have a business prior to this, you shouldn't have been filling out for the loan. You should have been second in line for that. I got associates of mine who've been in business as long as I have, who money still pending. We asked out. I've been down for almost a year from 3 different surgeries, and my pockets are empty, and I needed that money. So I'm not happy for none of y'all. If I hear you going to jail, hey, it is what it is. But when Satan offers you something, is my point. Be careful how you accept it. Now, there are big time businesses, banking industries who also stole money, but they don't go under the same rules as we do. They are not going to go under the same criminal liabilities as we do. I ain't never seen so many photographers and DJs pop up in South Carolina since y'all got that PPP money and all these goddamn bouncy houses and all this extra stuff. Everybody want to be a businessman now. Well, hell, if everybody in business, who the hell gonna buy your product? You put 10 people in a community that sell bouncy houses, how you gonna make money in that community? Where are our ambulance services? Where are our bodegas, mom and pop grocery stores? Where is our hardware store? We weren't qualified to do any of that, so we went right back into the same mess we always did. Some of you actually got $25,000 and bought drugs to flip. And now you want to come up and do something for Christmas time, which is a pagan holiday, and think that you in the clear. But we are in a time where the universe is going to make us answer. And if it is not you, sir, you, ma'am, that answers, your children will eventually have to answer for your sins. It's in the Bible. I ain't just talking. This is true. Read this. Then we're going to move on. One of the best known programs created through the March 2020 CARES Act, PPP, offers low interest forgivable loans to small businesses struggling to meet payroll. Y'all ain't even had no business. Y'all wasn't struggling to meet no payroll. But that goes to show you the sociopathic mind state of our community and the people in it. And y'all still scamming, still scheming. And you don't understand what that's going to do to the economy for us on the low level. It's going to completely eviscerate, destroy the middle class. And there's only going to be a poor and a rich. And the poor are going to be fighting over the same things. That's why all of us got the cameras. I'm the best photographer. I'm the best this. We're fighting over the same soup. Fighting over the same positions. This was a setup by the elite. And they can set us up anytime they want by just dangling money in our faces. Money in our faces. Positions in our faces. Then they asked the question in closing, can we stop fraud? Will we? No. But I think we can definitely prosecute those that need to be prosecuted, and we can do our best to recover as much fraudulent pandemic funds that we can, says Dotson, who is the Secret Service Assistant Special Agent in charge of the agency field office in Jacksonville, Florida. So yeah, they're going to come after us on that PPP. And yeah, they're going to make a lot of you fold because y'all ain't as tough as y'all talk. Y'all not as tough as you talk. Say it again, you're not as tough as you talk. Population control. Part of the population dying from COVID. Part of the population dying from gun violence. Part of the population dying from untreated diseases, not only AIDS and HIV, but syphilis. And those who suffer from AIDS or HIV, you still have a sex drive, so you want to have sex, but you're scared to tell the person you're infected with the disease. They go in you raw and they go back home to their husband, their wife, and then the disease spreads. We talked about AIDS. We talked about all of these things on our broadcast. Go look them up. Don't put me in no category of somebody who judging somebody. Don't judge. You can't judge. God judge. I can use discernment. God uses discernment, and God gave us the right to use discernment. So in closing, I want to say this. Again, write this number down, 803-656-3878. I'm sorry, 803-656-3874. You will be able to call in, or if you would like to be a guest on the show, you can contact me via Messenger, and I'll send you a link where you could come on live with me on the show, on any show. If there's something you would like to talk about, come on the show and we can talk about it. But we have got to change the direction of we think we're winning because we got a little bit of fraudulent loan money. That's my problem with us. Any little advancement, we think we won. You got $100,000, you think you rich. I know better. In less than 3 weeks, $175,000 was gone from us for surgery, for me. And we still paying bills. So I'm trying to introduce you to how the elite control the ignorant. You never see their face. That's the thing about the devil. The biggest trick he played is to make you think he don't exist. He puts people in front of you that look like you. So you get angry with them, us, me, you. There are 3 people that the world hate. 3 kinds of people that they hate. Righteous people. 1 is a person who knows truth and tells it. 2 is a person who's rich, beyond rich with the rich, but is willing to give away their wealth and teach others how to make money. Rich folks hate that. See, y'all like to dick ride rich people, but they'll never give you their secrets or their money. There are people in Manning right now. They brag in private. People hit me up all the time, man, you should talk about this person, that person. They said this. I got the paperwork. I got paperwork on people. You should talk. I'm not talking about any of them. You still following them. You still running with them. The person who knows truth and tells it. The second person is a person who has money and is willing to spend it and share it with the poor. And the third person is a person who's been given divine revelation from God and can prove it. See, most of these preachers walking around here have studied the words and they can talk it very well, but they haven't been given divine revelation to tell you what's coming down the line. They only can take the book and teach you about right now. And so you got an enemy and your friends and your enemy and your enemy and you got to do that. They can do that, but they can never say to you, this is what's happening down the line. So whomever God gives divine revelations to is a hated individual. 3 people. Now we talked about population control, and I want to say this to all of my street organizations, because I heard some disturbing things. There was a rapper that just was stabbed. Let me see if I can find his name real quick. I know y'all know his name, but you know, y'all be talking about the code of the street and all that stuff. So I don't know nothing about that. He was stabbed. Let me see if I can find his name, and then we're going to close. Yeah, his name was Draco the Ruler. Draco the ruler was fatally stabbed. Draco the ruler was at a concert getting ready to perform. Draco the ruler was there with Drake, with Snoop Dogg, and with many other popular artists. But Snoop Dogg spoke out and said that when he found out that Draco was being stabbed, he got out of there. He fled the scene with his security and dipped out. Now, these are the same 50 and 60-year-old dudes that been throwing biggity bang, giddy gang, bitty bang, big bang, dick dang, and talking about they so into this gang. But because they got something to lose now, they will leave your ass in the dust and then come on a song and talk about killing people. Snoop Dogg, Jay-Z, all of these rappers come on and talk about the streets and murder and killing. But when violence comes, they leave. There's this thing called maritime law. Maritime. I think it is maritime. Quote me if I'm. Correct me if I'm wrong. Write it down in the comment section. Maritime law, where when a ship captain is on a ship like a cruise, any boat, the ship captain has to be the last person to leave off that boat if it sinks. He has to make sure that everyone is off the boat before him. And if he leaves that boat before the other people leave that boat, he could face life imprisonment or death. That's law. You swore that you were going to hold your ground. Now, I don't know how gangs work, but I did see Blood In, Blood Out and American Me and Colors and gang documentaries. You say you in it for life, you're supposed to stay for the battle. But now those of you who started all this death and destruction, buy your masters because you know what you're doing. You understand completely what you're doing. You're destroying people on the middle class to poor level as you climb the ladder to more success. So all this drill rap, all this stuff, I'm sorry, is designed for you to kill, for you to bring out the animal side of you, and then they back away. Lil Durk about to get married. He left Chicago, live in Atlanta somewhere now. Killers, when they get some money, they're gone. And if they put you on and you refuse to change, then you all of a sudden you end up dead. Or if you don't play the rules like Dolph and the rest of them, Mo3 and them, Nipsey. And then I heard an article, and we're about to close. I got one more thing to show you. I heard a podcast with Whack 100, and Whack 100, big. I don't know if he blood crip. I don't understand the gang culture, so I don't talk about it much. But he was a big time guy in the gang culture in LA, and he came on and said he's about to move to London or someplace else because LA is too violent. Never mind that his influence created that violence. Now that they're making money, they want out. He said you can find it on the broadcast. They just robbing people, they killing people, they ain't got no rules. Yeah, but that's what you used to do though. You did that. You influenced that. So you're supposed to stay according to the maritime law. You started the violence. You're supposed to stay until it's over or try to correct it. See, that's Charleston White's argument, although he's very different in the way he approached things. What he's saying is you started this. Until you correct it, I got no place to put you. But instead of them correcting it, after leading our children into this gang culture, they pulling out. They got protection. They got security. You ain't got nothing but keep your head on the swivel. Who the hell can swivel all day? All a part of Satan's plan. We war not against flesh and blood. It's bigger than most of you can understand. And if I'm not the person you want to listen to, you better listen to somebody. I'm going to close with this. And this is why I entitled this Population Control. Let me get this up on the screen real quick. Politico's website. The headlines: U.S. population growth in 2021 slowest since nation's founding. Since the founding of the United States, the population grew this 2021 just 0.1%, likely because of the COVID-19 pandemic, according to the U.S. Census Bureau. Not just that. So for every child that is born, 1 is 5 are killed. This is documented. I ain't talking about what Jesus say. I ain't talking about what the Bible says. I'm talking about documented evidence that the population only increased 0.1% in 2021. This was the intent. Remember, I read the Guidestone? The Georgia Guidestone says what? What is the number one rule? Maintain humanity under 500 million in perpetual balance with nature. We are not balanced with nature. We're not even in tune with nature. So the people who want this earth to get back to it, they're willing to sacrifice everything to get rid of the riffraff. We the riffraff. You all out there with your guns, you ain't get them guns by accident. Ghost guns, you can build them now. No serial number on them. Y'all killing babies, murdering babies. Whatever you can do, you doing it. The judge hit the gavel and say, well, you're going to be charged with murder, but I'm going to let you get out on bond. And you go out and kill 3 more people. The population has not increased because for every one that's born, 10 die, or for every one that's born, they're born with a defect and they don't even count. So the Georgia Guidestone says, guide reproduction wisely, improving fitness and diversity. Had me dazed out for a minute. Now, let me read this. The U.S. population grew just 0.1% in 2021, the slowest rate since the nation was founded in the 18th century, according to the data from the U.S. Census Bureau. See, y'all ain't reading this. Y'all ain't seeing this. Oh, y'all said, God, 2022 gonna be a great year. Who told you that? Because you think that it is? And the book says lean not onto your own understanding. And find the rest for yourself. The Census Bureau attributed the slow population growth to the COVID-19 pandemic. Though the country has been experiencing low birth rates for several years, low population growth in recent years has historically been attributed to the simultaneously rising death rate of an aging U.S. population and declining rates in both births and migration. Studies show that net migration from Puerto Rico and foreign countries declined during the COVID-19 pandemic. According to the Census Bureau, 2021 is the first year since 1937 that the population has grown by fewer than 1 million people. Now, remember, we were considered 3/5 of a human being, or 3/4. Brought here in 1555, although the books say 1619, but we were not counted as human. So we weren't even considered a part of the equation in 1937. That the population has grown by fewer than 1 million people and is also the year with the lowest number of people added to the population since the 1900s. The population growth rate has also stalled to historically low levels in 1918 and 1919 due to the Spanish flu. Now, if you remember my documentary, my commentary when the COVID-19 virus first came out, and I told you that it has been proven that they actually use some of the germ base from the Spanish flu and produce this thing in Wuhan, China as a germ weapons warfare a weapon. They wanted to weaponize the germ, and they did. And they used germs from the Spanish flu. And they're saying that due to the Spanish flu, they're saying historically the low levels in 1918-19 due to the Spanish flu pandemic and World War I, due to violence and illness. Violence and illness. And according to governmental records, America and the streets of America, particularly in black community, is worse than the death rate, is worse than Vietnam, worse than world wars, the deaths of our people. This is all by design, man. I want to close with this. I want you to look at that very closely. U.S. population growth in 2021 slower since nation's foundation. What you think is going to do after becoming slow? It's going to begin to regress. It's going down after that. It's going backward after that. So that means that this population guideline, maintaining humanity under 500 million. Listen, most of us are walking dead already. We got nothing to live for, nothing. We wake up on it and we go to sleep on it. Nothing to live for. Partying, drinking, working, drinking, partying, drinking, working, drinking. Now I had to get this out, and this will be leading us to the topic that I must talk about. The female in the vagina, homosexuality and lesbianism, the whole thing. Be going back in again. I've done almost 10 broadcasts pertaining to it, and we're going to go back in again. But I want to close with this. Revelations 12:4, the King James Bible, and it says, and his tail drew the third part of the stars of heaven and did cast them to the earth. And the dragon stood before the woman, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. Now, remember, I told you that in the book of Revelation, in the book of Genesis, the first book of the Bible, it was a snake who went to devour the woman and the firstborn. And from Genesis to Revelations, our evil had advanced so far that a snake was no longer what was necessary to control our evil. So by the time it got to the book of Revelations, it is a dragon. From a snake to a dragon. And this is where we are. And where is the dragon standing? The dragon stood before the woman, right between her legs, which was ready to be delivered, for to devour her child as soon as it was born. I thank you all for tuning in to this installment of Population Control. I want you to go back and check out some of this stuff for yourself. I want you to share by God's permission. And I want you to understand, even in my breathing, how difficult this is for me to do. But when you say you are loyal to something, you're supposed to die on it. Oh, I got a cold today. I can't do it today. Nah. I see a lot of bitches out there. I mean, I can't beat you physically, like fighting and shooting, because you on that time. But you niggas, y'all don't fight the you crackers. Y'all don't fight what's in here. I am a community person. I am a community. I want Clarendon County to grow. I want to be a part of the Clarendon County family in politics and everything. That's where I want to be, because I'm fair. I am not a snitch. I don't tell, but I like to learn. And that's what I look people in their face and tell them, I want to be down with you because I want to learn. You're not going to put me in no other place than that by God's permission. I do not want to see things fall. I do not want to see this small town overtaken by violence and ignorance. I do not want to see that. I do not believe that my people, although you are great people, are in a position to do anything in terms of uniting and growing, because we're too jealous of each other, too envious. We're not ready. We are not ready. But I do believe by God's permission, we can get ready. But we got a lot of work to do, and we got to do it unified. Black, white, red, brown, and yellow. And that's where I stand. I stand on it. I stand my word on it. And if I got something to tell you, I'll tell you to your face. That's just me. Thank you all for tuning in. Jamil Salib Zamir, Manning, South Carolina. Thank you for tuning in on Instagram, if you will, at some point in time. Thank you on YouTube, and thank you on the Jamil Salib Zamir page, and also on the 19 Report. And please share this information, because listen, silence is consent. You're winning right now. You got your little DJ gig and your pictures and all that stuff, and you don't want to ruffle the feathers or nothing like that. I work with the police. I work with anybody. I don't ruffle no feathers, but I'm going to tell truth no matter who I stand next to. That don't mean I'm going to tell your personal business. That means we got to learn how to grow together. Thank you for tuning in.
Thank you so very much for tuning in to this month installment of the 19 Report. I am your host, Brother Johnny. I walked a thin line between right and wrong, took my fears to God, then I wrote this song. The spirit kept calling, so I answered the phone, and then I manned up and got some backbone. My mind resonates at a much higher tone, solid foundation, empire zone. 3 mountains, I'm in one, right to left counted, 9 and then 1, left to right switch it, 1 and then 9, west to east, south to north, a thin line. I know Christ exists, cause his mercy allows me a chance to stand 3 on a square. Yeah, we in there. This is Brother Johnny of Groove 19 Promotions.
Nineteen.